Tetema. 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 Oh mama. Oh mama. Oh mama. Oh mama. Oh mama tetema. 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 Oh mama 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 tetema.
I used to be a resident in Portmore, and I remember the long lines trying to get into Kingston before the highway. I am now thankful for the easier commute to get into Kingston.
We started in 2003 with a vision for making Jamaicans' lives easier, and we'll never stop working for you. Our new vision involves building a legacy of excellence that inspires and empowers our customers and stakeholders. Highway 2000 East-West is now TransJam Highways for your best journey.
The highway allowed me to finally own a home. Hallelujah. Kingston was so congested and houses were so expensive. The highway made it possible for me to buy something in a peaceful area out of town and was still able to commute quickly to Kingston for work.
We started in 2003 with a vision for making Jamaicans' lives easier, and we'll never stop working for you. Our new vision involves building a legacy of excellence that inspires and empowers our customers and stakeholders. Highway 2000 East-West is now TransJam Highways for your best journey.
Back in the days, it used to take us 4.5 hours, maximum 5 to get to Negrin. Nowadays, using the highway, 3.5 hours, boom, bam, and you reach.
We started in 2003 with a vision for making Jamaicans' lives easier, and we'll never stop working for you. Our new vision involves building a legacy of excellence that inspires and empowers our customers and stakeholders. Highway 2000 East-West is now TransJam Highways for your best journey.
You know, it's a joke thing every time you don't use a T-tag. I mean, with a T-tag, your 10th trip every week is free. And for every trip after that for the same week, it's 10% off. So you wait for it. Get your T-tag today and drive like the winner you are every time.
Save money and save time. If you don't have a tag, you will waste time. Yeah, your seatbelt buckle and you're driving safe. Use up your T-tag, drive and save.
Drive like the winner you deserve to be with the T-tag every time. You don't have to dig up for cash for pay toll. With a T-tag, your transaction is linked to your T-tag account. So you don't have to worry about cash. Just make sure you download the app and keep your account topped up. You can use WhatsApp or the My T-tag app. Oh, you can use this.
Save money and save time. If you don't have a tag, you a waste time. Yeah, your seatbelt buckle and you're driving safe. Use up your T-tag, drive and save.
Make smart money moves like a winner and use your T-tag every time. This makes no sense, people. Why waste time in the manual lane when you can just breeze through the T-tag lane? Plus, you pay a lower toll rate in the T-tag lane. You can easily get your T-tag from any toll collector. Just have to remember to top up by adding funds on the My T-tag app or by WhatsApp.
Save money and save time. If you don't have a tag, you a waste time. Yeah, your seatbelt buckle and you're driving safe. Use up your T-tag, drive and save.
Drive like the winner you deserve to be with the T-tag every time.
I used to be a resident in Portmore, and I remember the long lines trying to get into Kingston before the highway. I am now thankful for the easier commute to get into Kingston.
We started in 2003 with a vision for making Jamaicans' lives easier, and we'll never stop working for you. Our new vision involves building a legacy of excellence that inspires and empowers our customers and stakeholders. Highway 2000 East-West is now TransJam Highways for your best journey.
The highway allowed me to finally own a home. Hallelujah. Kingston was so congested and houses were so expensive. The highway made it possible for me to buy something in a peaceful area out of town and was still able to commute quickly to Kingston for work.
We started in 2003 with a vision for making Jamaicans' lives easier, and we'll never stop working for you. Our new vision involves building a legacy of excellence that inspires and empowers our customers and stakeholders. Highway 2000 East-West is now TransJam Highways for your best journey.
Back in the days, it used to take us 4.5 hours, maximum 5 to get to Negrin. Nowadays, using the highway, 3.5 hours, boom, bam, and you reach.
We started in 2003 with a vision for making Jamaicans' lives easier, and we'll never stop working for you. Our new vision involves building a legacy of excellence that inspires and empowers our customers and stakeholders. Highway 2000 East-West is now TransJam Highways for your best journey.
You know, it's a joke thing every time you don't use a T-tag. I mean, with a T-tag, your 10th trip every week is free. And for every trip after that for the same week, it's 10% off. So you wait for it. Get your T-tag today and drive like the winner you are every time.
Save money and save time. If you don't have a tag, you a waste time. Yeah, your seatbelt buckle and you're driving safe. Use up your T-tag, drive and save.
Drive like the winner you deserve to be with the T-tag every time. You don't have to dig up for cash for pay toll. With a T-tag, your transaction is linked to your T-tag account. So you don't have to worry about cash. Just make sure you download the app and keep your account topped up. You can use WhatsApp or the My T-tag app. Oh, you can use this.
Save money and save time. If you don't have a tag, you a waste time. Yeah, your seatbelt buckle and you're driving safe. Use up your T-tag, drive and save.
Make smart money moves like a winner and use your T-tag every time. This makes no sense, people. Why waste time in the manual lane when you can just breeze through the T-tag lane? Plus, you pay a lower toll rate in the T-tag lane. You can easily get your T-tag from any toll collector. Just have to remember to top up by adding funds on the My T-tag app or by WhatsApp.
Save money and save time. If you don't have a tag, you a waste time. Yeah, your seatbelt buckle and you're driving safe. Use up your T-tag, drive and save.
Drive like the winner you deserve to be with the T-tag every time.
I used to be a resident in Portmore, and I remember the long lines trying to get into Kingston before the highway. I am now thankful for the easier commute to get into Kingston.
We started in 2003 with a vision for making Jamaicans' lives easier. And we'll never stop working for you. Our new vision involves building a legacy of excellence that inspires and empowers our customers and stakeholders. Highway 2000 East-West is now TransJam Highways for your best journey.
The highway allowed me to finally own a home. Hallelujah. Kingston was so congested and houses were so expensive. The highway made it possible for me to buy something in a peaceful area out of town and was still able to commute quickly to Kingston for work.
We started in 2003 with a vision for making Jamaicans' lives easier. And we'll never stop working for you. Our new vision involves building a legacy of excellence that inspires and empowers our customers and stakeholders. Highway 2000 East-West is now TransJam Highways for your best journey.
Back in the days, it used to take us 4.5 hours, maximum 5 to get to Negrin. Nowadays, using the highway, 3.5 hours, boom, bam, and you reach.
We started in 2003 with a vision for making Jamaicans' lives easier. And we'll never stop working for you. Our new vision involves building a legacy of excellence that inspires and empowers our customers and stakeholders. Highway 2000 East-West is now TransJam Highways for your best journey.
You know, it's a joke thing every time you don't use a T-tag. I mean, with a T-tag, your 10th trip every week is free. And for every trip after that for the same week, it's 10% off. So you wait for it. Get your T-tag today and drive like the winner you are every time.
Save money and save time. If you don't have a tag, you will waste time. Yeah, your seatbelt buckle and you're driving safe. Use up your T-tag, drive and save.
Drive like the winner you deserve to be with the T-tag every time. You don't have to dig up for cash for pay toll. With a T-tag, your transaction is linked to your T-tag account. So you don't have to worry about cash. Just make sure you download the app and keep your account topped up. You can use WhatsApp or the My T-tag app. You can use this.
Save money and save time. If you don't have a tag, you will waste time. Yeah, your seatbelt buckle and you're driving safe. Use up your T-tag, drive and save.
Make smart money moves like a winner and use your T-tag every time. This makes no sense, people. Why waste time in the manual lane when you can just breeze through the T-tag lane? Plus, you pay a lower toll rate in the T-tag lane. You can easily get your T-tag from any toll collector. Just have to remember to top up by adding funds on the My T-tag app or by WhatsApp.
Save money and save time. If you don't have a tag, you will waste time. Yeah, your seatbelt buckle and you're driving safe. Use up your T-tag, drive and save.
Drive like the winner you deserve to be with the T-tag every time.
I used to be a resident in Portmore, and I remember the long lines trying to get into Kingston before the highway. I am now thankful for the easier commute to get into Kingston.
We started in 2003 with a vision for making Jamaicans' lives easier. And we'll never stop working for you. Our new vision involves building a legacy of excellence that inspires and empowers our customers and stakeholders. Highway 2000 East-West is now TransJam Highways for your best journey.
Good morning everyone. Can I ask everyone to just take their seats? We're about to start. Good morning again, ladies and gentlemen. Fellow shareholders, welcome. I'm Ivan Anderson, and I've been asked by the board to lead and chair today's meeting. It's a pleasure to welcome you to the 7th Annual General Meeting of TJH, since your company was listed on the Jamaica Stock Exchange. And today we take great pride in reporting another year of robust performance, continued transformation, and value creation for you, or over 40,000 Jamaican shareholders. And may I add, the best company on the Jamaica Stock Exchange. Yeah? Amen? Amen. So we continue to have this year's AGM in what we call a hybrid format, which we started during COVID, to allow for greater participation of our shareholders, both remotely and in person. I would therefore like to especially acknowledge our shareholders, invitees, and directors who are actually participating online. Please be advised that the meeting is being recorded. Please allow me at this time to introduce to you members of the Board of Directors who have guided the company through these momentous changes that we've been through and are present here today. Mr. Charles Pardy, our Chairman. Mrs. Julie Thompson-James. Mr. Ian Deere. Mr. Alok Jan, Mr. Stephen Gooden. Stephen will be with us in a few minutes. Mr. Stephen Edwards, who is joining virtually. Mr. John Bell. Mrs. Suzanne Brown, our Company Secretary and CFO. We'd also like to acknowledge two directors who resigned from the board in 2025, Dr. Bentley Brown and Honorable Patrick Hilton. Members of our management team present with us today are Suzanne, as I mentioned, Colin Murray, our Chief Operating Officer of the group, Mr. Melbourne Lincook, Manager of Quality and Maintenance Engineering, and I'm Ivan Anderson, the Chief Executive Officer. We also have with us today members of the management team in the audience and staff of both TGH and GIO, our subsidiary. We'll now invite one of our shareholders, Mrs. Renee MacDonald, CEO of Learn, Grow and Invest Limited, our investor relations partner, to offer a word of prayer.
Thank you. Let us pray. Heavenly Father, we thank you so much for this day. We thank you, Lord, for the company of TransJamaican Highways. We thank you, Lord, for the board, the management team, the directorship, the leadership that you have placed over this company, because, Lord, we know that no man is promoted without your hand. So we thank you, oh God, for the persons who you have put in leadership over this company. We thank you that you have allowed over 40,000 Jamaicans to participate in this company. And as we listen into the AGM today, Lord, I pray that minds and hearts will be open to receive everything that needs to be received in this meeting. I pray for your blessing over the proceedings, and may it be all to your glory. In Jesus' name, amen.
Thank you, Renee. I've been advised by the company secretary, Mrs. Brown, that in accordance with the company's articles of association, a quorum is present. The quorum requirement is for 3 shareholders present in person or by proxy. I now declare the annual general meeting open and duly constituted. I've also been advised by the company secretary that Director Nicholas Scott sent his apologies for absence. Partner of EY, the company's external auditors, Mrs. Rochelle Stevenson, is also present. The Jamaica Central Securities Depository, JCSD, our registrar and transfer agent, is also present and is represented by Ms. Tiffany Hall, Mr. Sheta Mannings, and Mr. Adain Beavers. I would now like to introduce the chairman of the board of TGH, Mr. Charles Pardy, who has guided the company since its inception more than 25 years ago, to give his opening remarks.
Ladies and gentlemen, dear shareholders, it is my great pleasure to present the 2025 annual report for TransJamaican Highway Limited, a year that tested and showed our strengths as a company. Another record-breaking year for us, and one which provided an opportunity to show our commitment and dedication to our shareholders and this country, Jamaica. The year showed our operational resilience, commitment to financial prudence, and our strategic investment in infrastructure. Regarding financial performance, despite the $3.5 million US in revenues lost from the suspension of tolls by the government of Jamaica last year, revenues for the year reached 91 million US, this is in rounded figures, the details will come later on, up 10% from the 83 million realized in 2024. Our operating profit rose to 48 million and net profit landed at 38 million, 20% higher than the previous 31 million. We are committed to securing a positive outcome in the discussions with the government of Jamaica regarding the revenues lost during the 15 days of toll suspension, which lasted from October the 26th to November the 10th, following the emergency protocols decided by the government. We also provided free passages to relief vehicles until the end of December. Our reserve accounts remain fully funded while we navigate the real new times Jamaica will face as we recover from Hurricane Melissa. Our S&P global ratings remain at BB-, a clear indication of our consistent financial prudence. As far as infrastructure development is concerned, the long-awaited Phase 1C has now been successfully added to our portfolio and started revenue collections on December the 27th of last year. We now project revenues of 10 million US and a daily count of 12,000 vehicles from this leg for this financial year. We made investment in network resilience and customer experience, including the completion of the Freetown interchange ramps, the expansion of Vineyards Toll Plaza, and further enhancements of our payment systems. Our contribution to rebuilding Jamaica post-Melissa came through a unanimous decision of this board to support the rebuilding efforts by providing $100 million Jamaican dollars of recovery relief support for over 2,400 families in partnership with Hardware and Lumber. All packages have been delivered in the first quarter of 2026. These packages have provided needed shelters to persons who had the need, and we have verified that the resources were utilized well. We are grateful for the unmatched execution and expertise of our team. My gratitude to our employees, management, board of directors, and all stakeholders who allowed us to reach new levels of excellence in our performance on all fronts. Thank you to our over 40,000 shareholders for your support and confidence in us. We look forward to delivering continued value and the performance you've come to expect from the TransJam Group. Thank you.
Thank you, Chairman, for those opening remarks. With this live viewing, we want to provide all our shareholders with the opportunity to be able to hear and see the proceedings of the meetings. We take the opportunity to remind shareholders who are with us online that, as stated in the notice provided for this meeting, that questions may be asked by emailing tjh@transjamhighways.com. Let me just say that again. You can email questions to tjh@transjamhighways.com. We'll dedicate 30 minutes for a question and answer session later in the meeting. Please also note that questions that are not answered during this meeting will be responded to subsequently. Voting on resolutions will be conducted for the first time in a hybrid manner. The results will depend on votes from both people online and persons in the audience. Those in the room will vote by show of hands, while online voting will be done via a Zoom poll for those people who are registered. Once a resolution has been moved and seconded, the resolution will pop up on the screen for those online, and you'll have 45 seconds to select either for or against. The results will be checked and announced after 45 seconds. The notice of the meeting and the form of proxy were dispatched to all shareholders on record as at April the 30th, 2026, in accordance with the company's articles of incorporation. If there is no objection, I propose that the notice of the meeting be taken as read. May I have a mover for this resolution? Thank you, Mr. Hines. A seconder? All in favor of this resolution? I now declare the motion is carried. The purpose of this annual general meeting is to seek approval of shareholders for the respective resolutions outlined in the notice. The resolutions are duly set out in the notice of the annual general meeting dated the 29th of April and duly signed by the company secretary. The items on the agenda are as follows. The first item of ordinary business is the adoption of the audited financial statements for the year ended December 31st, 2025, together with the report of the directors and the auditors thereon. The second item is to ratify interim dividend payments and declare them final. The third item is to elect directors. The fourth item is to approve the remuneration of the directors. The fifth item of business is the appointment of the auditors, Ernst & Young, and that the board be allowed to fix the auditor's remuneration. And the last item is to amend the Articles of Incorporation. We will now conduct the business of the meeting as set forth in the notice. In order to conduct an orderly meeting and give all eligible shareholders an opportunity to participate, we will follow the procedures as mentioned earlier. Questions and comments from the floor should pertain to the items on the notice, and I ask that persons in attendance wishing to speak to raise their hand, where you will be provided with a microphone, where you will state your name and status as a shareholder for the minutes. Please note that only shareholders or their duly appointed proxies are allowed to move and second motions to vote on resolutions. So resolution number 1. In accordance with Article 179 of the Company's Articles of Incorporation, the company is obliged to lay before this meeting the audited financial statements together with the report of the directors and auditors, which are contained in the company's annual report for the year ended December 31, 2025. I will now ask Ms. Rochelle Stevenson from EY to read the auditor's report. I'm sorry. Mr. Oral Williams from EY to read the auditor's report.
Good morning, everyone. Not Rochelle here, Oral Williams, representing Rochelle. I've been tasked to read the auditor's report for the year ended 31st of December 2025. Opinion. We have audited the consolidated financial statements of TransJamaican Highway Limited and its subsidiary, the group, and the separate financial statements of TransJamaican Highway Limited, the company, which comprise the consolidated and separate statements of financial position as at December 31st, 2025, the consolidated and separate statements of comprehensive income, consolidated and separate statements of changes in equity, and the consolidated and separate statements of cash flow for the year then ended, and the notes to the consolidated and separate financial statements, including material accounting policy information. In our opinion, the accompanying consolidated and separate financial statements give a true and fair view of the consolidated and separate financial position of the group and the company as at December 31st, 2025, and their consolidated and separate financial performance and their consolidated and separate cash flows for the year ended in accordance with IFRS accounting standards and the Jamaican Companies Act. Basis for opinion. We conducted our audit in accordance with international standards on auditing ISAs. Our responsibilities under those standards are further described in the auditor's responsibilities for the audit of the consolidated and separate financial statement section in our report. We are independent of the group and the company in accordance with the International Ethics Standard Board for Accountants, International Code of Ethics for Professional Accountants, including International Independent Standards. This is IEASBA code. As applicable to the audit of the consolidated and separate financial statements of the public interest entities, we have also fulfilled our other ethical responsibilities in accordance with the ISBA code. We believe that the audit evidence we have obtained is sufficient and appropriate to provide a basis for our opinion. Key audit matters. Key audit matters are those matters that, in our professional judgment, were the most significant in our audit of the consolidated and separate financial statements of the current period. These matters were addressed in the context of our audit of the consolidated and separate financial statements as a whole, and informing our opinion thereon. And we do not provide a separate opinion on these matters. For each matter below, our description of how the audit addresses these matters is provided in that context. We have fulfilled the responsibilities described in the auditor's responsibility for the audit of the consolidated and separate financial statement section of our report, including in relation to these matters. Accordingly, our audit included performance of procedures designed to respond to our assessment of the risk of material misstatements of the consolidated and separate financial statements. The results of our audit procedures, including procedures performed to address the matters below, provide a basis for our audit opinion and the accompanying consolidated and separate financial statements. Key audit matters. Intangible assets relating to the service concession agreement, IFRIC 12, and the related impairment assessment. Intangible assets amounted to 190.71 million as of December 31st, 2025, and accounted for 68% of the total non-current assets and 64% of the total asset for the group. As we've discussed in Note 4, amortization is charged so as to write off the costs of intangible assets over the period of concession using a projection of traffic on the highway over this period. The projection is based on various estimates and assumptions surrounding, among other things, macroeconomic variables and toll road traffic demand. These assumptions can vary in practice, and the actual outcome depend on such factors as population growth and the development of other sections of the highway. The policy of the Board of Directors and management is to update the forecast periodically based on actual traffic. The most recent update was completed in July 2024 by Steer, an external consultant from the United Kingdom. At the end of each reporting period, if indicators of impairment exist, management perform an impairment assessment on the intangible assets which are within the scope of IFRIC 12. The assessment involves comparisons between the carrying amount and the recoverable amount, being the higher of the fair value less cost to sell on value in use. As part of our audit procedures, we have obtained an understanding and evaluated the design and implementation of the group's internal control over processes related to intangible assets, verify the reconciliation of subledger to the general ledger values, verify the completeness of the actual traffic data, and recalculated amortization charges for the year. We place reliance on the external consultant's traffic projection report over the concession period and therefore assess the external consultant's qualification that is professional certification, membership in an appropriate professional body. We looked at experience and reputation in the field. We also assessed the external consultants' independence, objectivity, and with the assistance of EY specialists, evaluated the work performed, including reviewing the assumptions and inputs used in the report, in accordance with ISO 620, which is using the work of an expert. We examined the methods adopted by management to identify and assess possible indicators of impairment of the intangible assets with the assistance of EY specialists. We reperformed the impairment assessment and assessed accuracy and completeness of the disclosures presented in the consolidated financial statements. Other information included in the group's 2025 annual report. Other information consists of the information included in the group 2025 annual report other than the consolidated and separate financial statements and our auditor's report thereon. Management is responsible for the other information. The group 2025 annual report is expected to be made available after the available to us after the date of our auditor's report. Our opinion on the consolidated and separate financial statements does not cover the other information, and we will not express and form any assurance thereon. In connection with our audit of the consolidated and separate financial statements, our responsibility is to read the other information identified above when it becomes available, and doing so, consider whether the other information is materially inconsistent with the consolidated and separate financial statements, or our knowledge obtained in the audit or otherwise appears to be materially misstated. Management is responsible for preparation of the consolidated and separate financial statements that give a true and fair view in accordance with IFRS accounting standards and the Jamaican Companies Act, and for such internal control as management determines is necessary to enable the preparation of the consolidated and separate financial statements that are free from material misstatements, whether due to fraud or error. In preparing the consolidated and separate financial statements, management is responsible for assessing the group's and the company's ability to continue as a going concern, disclosing as applicable matters relating to going concern, and using the going concern basis of accounting unless either intends to liquidate the group and the company or to cease operation, or has no realistic alternative but to do so. Our objectives are to obtain reasonable assurance about whether the consolidated and separate financial statements as a whole are free from material misstatements, whether due to fraud or error, and to issue an auditor's report that includes our opinion. Reasonable assurance is a high level of assurance, but is not a guarantee that an audit is conducted in accordance with ISOs, and will always detect a material misstatement when exists. Misstatements can arise from fraud or error and are considered material if, individually or in aggregate, they could reasonably be expected to influence the economic decisions of users taken on the basis of these consolidated and separate financial statements. As part of our audit and in accordance with ISOs, We exercise professional judgment and maintain professional skepticism throughout the audit. We also identified and assessed the risk of material misstatements of the consolidated and separate financial statements, whether due to fraud or error, design and perform audit procedures responsive to those risks, and obtain audit evidence that is sufficient and appropriate to provide a basis of our opinion. The risk of not detecting material misstatements resulting from fraud is higher than one resulting from error, as fraud may involve collusion, forgery, intentional omission, misrepresentation, or override of internal control. Obtain an understanding of internal control relevant to the audit in order to design audit procedures that are appropriate in the circumstances, but not for the purpose of expressing an opinion on the effectiveness of the group and the company's internal control. Evaluate the appropriateness of accounting policies used and the reasonableness of accounting estimates and related disclosures made by management. Conclude on the appropriateness of management's use of the going concern basis of accounting, and based on the audit evidence obtained, whether material uncertainties exist related to events or conditions that may cast doubt on the company's ability to continue as a going concern. If we conclude that a material uncertainty exists, we are required to draw attention in our audit report to the related disclosures in the consolidated and separate financial statement, or if such disclosures are inadequate, to modify our opinion. Our conclusions are based on the audit evidence obtained up to the date of our auditor's report. However, future events or conditions may cause the company to cease to continue as a going concern. We evaluate the overall presentation, structure, content of the consolidated and separate financial statements, including the disclosures, and whether the consolidated and separate financial statements represent underlying transactions and events in a manner that achieves fair presentation. Plan and perform the group audit to obtain sufficient, appropriate audit evidence regarding the financial information of the entities or the business units within the company as a basis for forming an opinion on the consolidated financial statements. We are responsible for the direction, supervision, and review of the audit work performed for the purpose of group audit. We remain solely responsible for audit opinion. We communicate with the audit committee regarding, among other matters, the plan, scope, and timing of the audit and the significant audit findings, including any significant deficiencies in internal controls that we identified throughout our audit. We also provide the audit committee with a statement that we have complied with the relevant ethical requirements regarding independence, and to communicate with them all relationships and other matters that may reasonably be thought to bear on our independence, and when applicable, related safeguards. From the matters communicated with the audit committee, we determined those matters that were of most significance in the audit of the consolidated and separate financial statements of the current period, and are therefore the key audit matters. We describe these matters in our auditor's report unless law or regulation precludes public disclosure about the matter, or when, in extremely rare circumstances, we determine that a matter should not be communicated in our report because the adverse consequence of doing so would reasonably be expected to outweigh the public interest benefit of such communication. We have obtained all the information and explanations which, to the best of our knowledge and belief, were necessary for the purpose of our audit. In our opinion, proper accounting records have been maintained so far as appears from our examination of these records, and the consolidated and separate financial statements which are in agreement therewithin give the information required by the Jamaican Companies Act in the manner required. The engagement partner on the audit resulting in this independent auditor's report is Rochelle Stevenson, Ernst & Young, Chartered Accountant, Kingston, Jamaica, report date March 23, 2026. Thank you.
Thank you, Oral. Suzanne and I will now present the Director's report. The Director's report will cover 4 main areas. We'll look at the overall results, profitability, revenues, dividends, and traffic. We'll look a little bit at the customer expectations, how are we satisfying those expectations, and how that impacts our bottom line. We talk a little bit about how we're using artificial intelligence in our operations, and finally, what's next for TJH. Let me hand over now to Suzanne, who will undertake the first part of our Director's report.
Thank you, Ivan. Good morning again, everyone. I want to extend, Ivan already extended welcome, but let me extend special welcome to, I've seen some of the faces that joined us from our very first AGM. Thank you for sticking with us. I hope you're as pleased to be here today as I am pleased to be bringing you the financial highlights of 2025 and also give you an update of how this strong momentum has continued into 2026. I promise to keep it short and spicy, as I'll not be reading every number on the screen. Instead, I'll be more focusing on what the numbers are telling us. And a gentle reminder, the numbers that we have here on the screen and we may speak about in this section of the presentation are in USD unless otherwise indicated. All right, so let's begin with the big picture. Revenue increased by 10% to 91.2 million. Net profit was up by 21% to 37.9 million. Earnings per share increased by 20%. The company also maintained strong EBITDA margin of 76.9%. And importantly, to the shareholders, we also paid out a total of 20 million in dividends during last year. So in one sentence, the company is delivering stronger revenue, stronger profitability, and greater returns to you, our shareholders. But the numbers don't tell us, not just telling us about what we have earned during the year. We're also going to give you a little bit of more information about what it's really telling us. It's saying the year was a good year for TransJamaican Highway or the TransJam Group. We experienced record profitability, strong cash generation. We recorded growth across all key financial metrics, and we continued investing in the future. And this is good because we should never measure only by what we earn today, but our ability or our capacity to continue performing tomorrow. So let us look briefly at how the performance has developed over time. So in terms of revenue, Over the 5-year period, revenue has grown from US $52.8 million in 2021 to $91.2 million in 2025. And this is representing a growth over the 5-year of 70%. Revenue has continued to move steadily upwards. At the same time, our operating expenses have remained well controlled, and you'll see on the screen here, 2022 is showing where the company, the changes that has been made since the company restructured and purchased the operator GIO back in December 2022. 2025, we closed with operating expenses of $9.2 million. And when Mr. Anderson continues his presentation, you'll hear about you'll get some interesting insights as to how we've been spending that $9.2 million while continuing to keep our expenses controlled. So this combination is what we want to see, revenue growing and the expenses being steady, because we want to ensure that more is passing down to the bottom line so we can continue providing great value to you, our shareholders. And that disciplined performance has also been strengthened by our overall financial position. At the end of last year, total assets stood at $300 million, and this is an increase of $6 million. And at the same time, our liabilities continued to trend down. Liabilities declined by $12 million and is now at $217 million at year-end 2025. Our asset base has increased while our liabilities continue to decline. The group also maintained a healthy cash position of $96 million. The message is simple. Our asset base is growing, liabilities continue to decline, and our balance sheet remains strong. But a strong balance sheet must be supported by strong cash flows. During the year, the group generated operating cash flow of $51.8 million. And this is representing an 18% increase over 2024. Our debt service ratio was also 3.11 times. And what this means is that for every dollar of debt obligation the company owed, we were able to generate 3 times that amount in available cash flow. And this is giving us the flexibility to continue maintaining our obligations, support future investments, and also deliver on returns to you, our shareholders. The slide only has 2 numbers, but these are very powerful numbers. Strong cash flows also support strong dividend distribution. So here we're presenting a history of the distributions we have made since being listed. And you'll see we have grown from the $7 million distributed in 2021 and 22 to $15 million in 2023. We did another $16 million in 2024, and that's in April and October, and also last year, $20 million in April and October, respectively, as well. The dividend story here is both one of consistency and growth. And we know shareholders appreciate growth, but more importantly, shareholders like to see when some of that growth is reaching their accounts or in their pockets. And I'll just take it as my opportunity to just remind shareholders here, if you have not yet submitted a banking mandate to the stock exchange to have your dividend sent directly to your bank account, please do so. I think we're hearing in the news now, we will soon be gone with checks. So please, try to get the money earlier in your account. The earlier you get it, the earlier you can use it, all right? So another important thing is that the results that we are demonstrating here today is being shared over a wider shareholder base. TJH now has over 40,000 shareholders, And what this means is that the performance, sorry. It means that the value that we're creating here is being distributed to ordinary Jamaicans like you and me. And so the market's response also provides another indication of growing investor confidence. At year-end 2025, the share price was at Jamaican dollar 481. At the end of first quarter 2026, it rose to 6.94. And just when we checked about 2 weeks ago, it was at $9.25. And this is approximately 92% since the close of last year. However, we know that share price can fluctuate, right? But what it's really showing is an increasing investor confidence in the performance and prospects of TransJamaican Highway or the TransJam Group. So we thank you. It is also a reminder that strong performance and consistent execution eventually speaks for themselves. And the confidence is supported by new opportunities for growth, including our newest highway segment, and that's Phase 1C, or the Maypen to Williamsfield leg of the project. So during the first quarter, and I want to mention that Phase 1C began operation in December 27th, actually, so we only had 5 days for 2025. So now what we are seeing the actuals in 2026. During the first quarter, Phase 1C generated revenue of $3.5 million. This is comparing to the forecast, which was 2.3 for the Q1 2026, an increase of approximately 52% ahead of the forecast. And most importantly, Phase 1C was able to contribute 12% of the total group revenue. An interesting point that we're seeing with Phase 1C is the mix in the traffic. The forecast anticipated that the majority of the traffic would have come from the ramp, which is a shorter leg of the journey. But what we're seeing is that the persons are coming on and staying on the highway for the full journey. And so that is translating in the revenue results you're seeing today. These early results demonstrate the strategic value of the investment. It also is very early, but very, very encouraging as a start. And when we combine this contribution with the performance of our existing operations, and we call it Phase 1A, Phase 1B, the result is a very, very strong start to 2026. So here I'm showing you a lot of numbers, but let's look at what those numbers are saying. Revenue increased by 29% for the first quarter, or $29 million. Net profit also increased, rising to 46%, or $13.2 million. EBITDA continued to grow, 31%. In terms of total assets, this increased to 309.7, while the debt service coverage ratio also improved to a further 3.43 times. Earnings per share also increased by 46%, and cash flow per share 60%. And of course, we mentioned, well, I don't think we have, a dividend of $13 million was also declared and paid in April 2026. The overall message, the group is continuing to convert revenue into stronger profitability, stronger cash flow, and even greater returns to you, our shareholders. So in summary, revenue is growing, profitability is strengthening, costs remain controlled, cash generation is strong, our liabilities continue to decline, and shareholders continue to benefit. We are pleased with the performance, but we remain focused. We understand our responsibilities not just to deliver strong results today, but to protect and build shareholder value for the long term. Let me extend my special thanks to the board, management, and our employees at the various toll plazas, all our other business partners, and importantly to you, our shareholders. A warm thank you for your continued confidence in TransJamaican Highway. Thank you.
Thank you, Suzanne. Suzanne's presentation covered the numbers part of it, and I'll try and look at it more at how we're combining infrastructure with technology, with artificial intelligence to create what we believe is the greatest infrastructure company in Jamaica and the Caribbean. Amen? Amen. All right. So every day, as you know, more than 80,000 people use our highway. People doing routine tasks, going to work, carrying children to school, businesses moving goods and services. The highway has become not just a road, it has become one of Jamaica's most important assets and pieces of national infrastructure. So why are these people using the highway? Why do these 80,000 people use our roads? What is their purpose? There are three broad areas I wanted to focus on. Moving people safely, moving people faster, and moving people more efficiently. So first, are we satisfying these needs of our consumers, of the motorists? What do our consumers think about us? What do our motorists think about us? What do you think they think about us? You think that we're doing well? Revenue speaks for itself. So let's look at what the surveys tell us. So 88%, so every year, and if you've been caught up in it, but every year we stop people up, have a good or excellent opinion of the highway. And this has grown from 71% in 2021 to 73% in 2023 and 88% in our last survey. Interestingly, what do you think they say about how we can improve? You recall, those of you who were here at our last annual general meeting when we did the 2023 survey, one thing they mentioned was a rest stop. They wanted to have a rest stop. So, promise made, promise kept. Rubis is now at Portmore and in full operation. So we asked again in the 2026 survey, what do you need from us? What things would you like to see us implement? What do you think they said? Exactly, nothing. The largest group of people had nothing to comment. They could make no recommendations for improvements. We must be doing something well, eh? So improving customer satisfaction is also consistent with what we're seeing in terms of the traffic. Suzanne spoke about the traffic earlier and the growing traffic on the highway. This year, or in 2025, we had 29.2 million vehicles using the highway, more than in 2024, and all this despite Hurricane Melissa. Remember Hurricane Melissa? Hurricane Melissa took 1 million vehicles out of those numbers. So the numbers would have been 1 million vehicles higher had we not had the GOJ shutdown of the highway. This is also consistent with customers' response when we ask them, are they using the highway more? So 38% of the customers said yes, we're using the highway more than we were using it before. And less people are saying they're using it less. So we are satisfying this need. So this increase, as I said, also happened despite Hurricane Melissa. Everybody recognized that V in the graph, Hurricane Melissa. As I said earlier, 1.08 million trips lost during this period. But you notice something else. Once we resumed operation, what happened? Traffic returned, and actually traffic returned higher than it was before. So an interesting question is, how do we increase traffic without increasing congestion on the highway? How do we move more people more quickly without having congestion? Well, the rise of the T-tag. The main reason for this is that more and more people are now using the T-tag. At the end of 2025, in December, we had 1.4 million people using T-tags. In fact, at December, about half of all our customers now use the T-tag. This is coming from about 30% 5 years ago. And this is approximately twice the number of people using the T-tag than were using it when we did our initial public offering in 2020. And this number here, the 49%, as at December, is even higher during peak periods. This graph is a little clustered, but what it is trying to show, the blue lines, the blue bars, is the eastbound traffic at Portmore in the morning. The orange lines are the westbound traffic in the evening. So what you see is use of T-tag growing in the morning. So by the time you get to 7 o'clock, what is happening? 79% of our traffic are now using T-tags. So almost 80% of everybody using the highway during the peak period is using a T-tag. Only 20% going through the manual lanes. So why are we doing this? Obviously, it gets more people through the highway. But it also does something else. More people using the T-tag lanes means what for the manual lanes? Exactly. The more traffic going through the T-tag lanes means less traffic going through the manual lanes. When you look at our manual lanes now, we actually have two, so despite the traffic growing, right? Traffic is growing. But we're having less people being in the manual lane. So in 2025, we had 2 million less people in our manual lanes in 2025. So that means less delays, more time saved. But this also impacts how we deploy our people as well. So this is the total staff that we have assigned to the manual lanes over the past year. And we now have, because we have more T-tag traffic, less manual lane traffic, we've been able to more efficiently deploy the teams that we have. So this graphic looks at the persons assigned to our toll operations over the past year, and it shows the downward trend in the people assigned to the toll tellers assigned. And we've been able to do this without actually laying off people. So what we did, when we started up Phase 1C, rather than hiring new people for Phase 1C, we were able to redeploy people from the existing operations into Phase 1C while keeping the numbers the same. Convenience has also become one of the increasing competitive advantages. This year we introduced new payment mechanisms. Can bet you not many people here recognize how many different ways you can top up your T-Tag. Everybody heard the WhatsApp commercial, right? Yes? So you can top up via WhatsApp. Just go onto your WhatsApp, enter the WhatsApp number, say hello, and WhatsApp will take you through the full process. Provide them with your credit card, provide your swipe card number, tell them how much you want to top up, and it's done. But we also added Bill Express. So every Bill Express location, both online, you can now top up the T-Tag. You can top up with Go Top Up. Obviously, you can use the My T-Tag app on your phone. Everybody here have a My T-Tag app, right? Yes? Hold on. Everybody here have a tag, right? No, this can't continue. This can't. All right, so we have some tags at the back. Make sure you get your tag before you leave. It's a requirement for being a shareholder that you have to have a tag. All right? All right, thank you. We don't have enough, but so it's never been easier to top up. And guess what? 3 years ago, it used to take you 2 years. 2 hours, 2 hours. Not 2 years. When you topped up your account, it used to take 2 hours. Now, we have near real-time top-up. But not only have we made it easier to top up, we're also making our whole operations more efficient. So for those of you who were here last year, we talked through the improvements that we were making over the past few years, starting with making it easier to get a tag. Anybody here have a tag from the other competitor? I hope nobody has one, right? But it's so difficult to get one anyway. You have to drive across the traffic, stop at a store, wait for them to have the tags. And most times they don't have the tags, but you have to wait for them to have the tag, wait for them to come out, wait for them to install the tag, and hopefully it works. How do you get a tag from us? How do you get a tag from us? Right. You just go to any manual lane, ask the toll teller to give you a tag, and they give you a tag. So we have transformed that operation. So 5 years ago, we had the same issues. You had to go to the office, you had to give them your life history, you had to give them a touch of blood here and there, but now it's seamless. Just ask somebody for a tag, give a tag, take it out of the bag, stick it on the windscreen, and it's ready to go. It's actually pre-charged, ready to go. That required a modification in our lanes, and we have now done all of that on all our lanes. Now you can get a tag 24 hours a day at any plaza. And coming next week, Colin, our e-store will be open, so you can order it online, and we'll deliver it to your house. So obviously we also improved the lane experience. With the large number of people now using the tags, we found that some people were not knowing what the balance on their tag was. But now you know, right? And we can tell them how you know the balance, right? Right? Right. How you know the balance? Exactly. It is shown on the screen every time you drive through the toll plaza. So the balance comes up, you know exactly where you are, and you know when you need to top up. We've also done a lot to boost the physical capacity at the toll lanes. Again, on some of our competitors' roads, we've heard about those backups. How do we prevent the backups on our side? We do a number of things. We convert manual lanes to tag lanes. We convert lanes to reversible lanes. So at Portmore, for example, we have 21 lanes. But it doesn't mean that we have 11 and, not 11, 10, right? Doesn't mean we have 11 and 10. We could have 15 and 6. And that could be reversible. So in the morning, what we do? We run more lanes into Kingston and less lanes going west. And we're doing that at all our plazas. So we have changed lanes from manual to tag. We have changed the lanes to reversible. We have widened the access to these lanes so that we can move more people through the highway. We've also constructed some new lanes. So last year, we added a physical new lane at Vineyards. A few years ago, we had issues with traffic going through Vineyards. So we decided to add a physical new lane, a new reversible lane. But during peaks now, we have 9 lanes of traffic at Vineyards, 9 lanes available for traffic, and 6 lanes available in any one direction. Last year, we also added new infrastructure. So at Freetown, we added new ramps. So previously, you could only get off going west and get on going east. We've now added a full interchange at Freetown. And what does that mean for us? We expect more traffic using the highway, especially at Maypen. Improved revenues, improved profitability. So we've also, you know that we've been accepting credit cards since 2023, right? But we've done something interesting last year. We introduced another innovation. Not something that has ever been done in Jamaica, but we're doing it. So you know when you go into a supermarket or a store to use your credit card, the cashier adds up your items. She takes a total from the cashier, from the register. She puts it into the point of sale machine. She enters her code, whatever, puts it in the machine. You request your card. You tap or you insert. She then gets an approval. And then she goes back to the cash register and says, yes, I've gotten the money. Go ahead. So that's how a typical transaction works. But what are we doing? We're now integrating the point of sale machine with the toll system. So what does that do? No human input. The car comes up to the toll plaza. Toll plaza recognizes the car. The toll plaza then passes the information on the toll to the point of sale machine. The customer taps on the machine or inserts, goes out, machine goes away, gets the approval, comes back, and does what? Opens the barrier without any intervention. a seamless operation. Drive up, tap, approve, go through. And we're now in the final stages of testing this. We have 10 lanes throughout the plazas running with this. And next stage, so now we have to have the teller to show you the machine where you can tap. But the next stage is to just have the machine sitting on the side of the toll plaza, on a booth, unattended, tap, go through. No intervention needed. So today we've made it easy to purchase, easy to top up, easy to reload, and easy to travel. But one other thing that our customers want is safety. We've talked about 2 or 3 of the customers' expectations, but moving people safely is probably the most important of all of them. That is why we're improving the way we patrol our highway, the technology that we're utilizing, the maintenance of our highway, all have one objective: helping every customer arrive home safely. If you're like me and you have young children or adult children, you encourage them to use the highway, right? Because you know what it is like driving on the old roads, not just the potholes, but with the minibus people. If you're brought down, you're on your own. If you hit something, you're on your own. So the highway is important because it provides safety for our people. So innovation now runs through every aspect of our operation. We've now upgraded what we call our roadway operations and maintenance system. We call it ROMS for short. And that has transformed the way we maintain the road. So every one of our patrol officers carry with them a tablet. Right? So when they see something, they take out the tablet, they aim it at the issue, whether it's a broken fence, a damaged barrier, an issue with a breakdown. They enter the information. Then that information gets uploaded immediately to the main database. In that database, then, the supervisors can now plan the activities. So before the patrol officer gets back to the office, the manager can begin to plan and assign the equipment that he needs to carry out these repairs. So in taking the picture, we also identify the GPS coordinates, so we know exactly where the issue has occurred. So it has become seamless for us to begin to improve the maintenance of the highway. So we're also using artificial intelligence in a number of ways, and I'll talk to you about one. Helping us monitor traffic. So what we use is artificial intelligence in our cameras to look at the traffic along the highway. And more importantly, tell us when queues are occurring, when you have long queues occurring. Once cameras see long queues occurring, cameras take a picture and send it out to the toll plaza supervisors, the safety managers for immediate response. So before the queue gets to where somebody has to start complaining about the queue, we've already notified all our operations people that this queue is developing. We need to figure out how to solve it. Do we need to add more lanes, increase our T-tag lanes in order to get more people through? So part of feeling safe is knowing that should your car break down or have an accident, someone is always there 24 hours a day, right? That would be good, right? No sick days. You don't have to worry about storm, can't come to work. You don't have to worry about people on lunch break, right? That's ideal world, right? You don't have to worry. When you pick up the phone and call somebody, when you need help, you're going to get help. So meet TJ for TransJamaican. TJ is our 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year, smart AI assistant.
Welcome back, Ivan. Thank you for choosing TransJam Highway Support. How may I assist you today?
Hi, TJ. We are at the annual general meeting of TransJamaican Highways. Would you like to say hello and say how you can help people?
Good evening, everyone. I am here to assist with any questions related to TransJam Highways, including toll rates, T-tag information, travel updates, payments, and general support. If you need details on toll plaza operations, emergency procedures, or wish to report an issue, please let me know how I can help.
What are the toll rates at Portmore Toll Plaza?
The toll rates at Portmore Toll Plaza are as follows. Class 1 vehicles pay $370 with a T-tag and $380 without. Class 2 vehicles pay $690 with a T-tag and $710 without. Class 3 vehicles pay $1,150, whether or not you use a T-tag. If you need rates for another class or location, please let me know. May I assist you today?
Hi, TJ. My car has broken down. Can you help?
I'm sorry to hear that. I'll help you raise this urgently. May I have your name, please?
Ivan.
Thank you, Ivan. Would you like us to call you back on the number you're contacting us from? Or would you prefer to provide a different mobile number?
The same number.
Thank you. Please share your current location, nearest plaza, exit, or landmark, if available.
I'm near a Spanish Town Toll Plaza.
Got it. Briefly, can you tell me what happened with your car?
I seem to have run out of gas.
Thank you for letting me know. Just wait for a moment. Please wait. I have informed the customer support agent, and you will receive a callback on your mobile shortly. Welcome back, Ivan. Thank you for choosing TransJam Highway Support. How may I assist you today?
Hi, TJ. I'm in downtown Kingston, and I want to go to the KFC in Portmore. Can you tell me how to get there and what the toll rate is?
Just wait for a moment. To get from downtown Kingston to the KFC in Portmore, you'll take the Portmore Causeway via the Portmore Toll Plaza. For a standard car, Class 1, the toll rate is $370 with a T-tag and $380 without a T-tag. Would you like directions for the route as well? or do you need any other details?
What's the current balance on my T-tag?
Would you like me to use the number you're contacting us from, or would you prefer to provide a different mobile number?
Yes, use this number.
Please provide the last 6 digits of your swipe card.
136256.
Just wait for a moment while I check your T-tag balance. Your T-tag swipe card ending in 136256 has a balance of $6,275. Would you like help with anything else?
No, thanks, TJ.
The TJ. As our beta testers, I'll give you the number for TJ at the end of the session, and you can call TJ and have a conversation with her. But what happens when you have an emergency? What happens when you need help and you call and you don't get somebody? So the way TJ operates is all calls first go to a human. But if a human doesn't answer, then TJ will always answer. But when TJ takes a report, what does she do with it? Well, first, what she does is she tries to call the toll plaza supervisor who is on duty. And she tries a number of different times over a period of a few minutes. She also sends a notification to them. So when they look at their admin panel on their computer, it pops up. What's the person's name? What's their phone number? What's their emergency? If they have a breakdown, where is the vehicle? And that notification that we send to the supervisor also goes directly to the patrol officer. So even if the toll plaza supervisor doesn't see it, the patrol officer gets notified at the same time. No misunderstandings. Our patrols are dispatched with the information they need before even arriving on the site. So after addressing moving people faster, moving people more efficiently, and moving people more safely, what is next for TGH? Where are the opportunities? Well, let's talk about 3. So Jamaica obviously continues to invest in modern transportation infrastructure, creating exciting opportunities for future growth. And one of the most significant projects, which we all hear about, is the Montego Bay Bypass project. And we are already in discussions with NROC. NROC came to us to talk to us about how the tolling systems could be interoperable, meaning that how our existing toll system could work with the mobile tolling system. These projects obviously have the potential to expand the TGH network. And so we continue those discussions. Hopefully when the time comes, we'll be able to make a proposal to also operate the Montego Bay Bypass. So beyond the Montego Bay discussions, there are also a number of other projects being talked about. You'd have heard the Prime Minister talking about new highway expansions. The largest of them being the new north-south, what is called the north-south extension. So this is a road that bypasses the North Coast Highway. If you're coming from Montego Bay, for example, when you get to Discovery Bay, you're coming east, you get to Discovery Bay, you'd veer off on the right, running parallel with the North Coast Highway. Everybody follow me? So bypassing Discovery Bay, bypassing Priory, bypassing St. Anne's Bay, and connecting back to the North Coast Highway, and then also continuing bypassing Ocho Rios down to Prospect. So that's an exciting project. That's a very exciting project. And we have now begun discussions both with the government of Jamaica and with Czech about how we can participate in that project. Finally, interestingly, I was asked a question this morning. What happens in 2036? So we've begun to look past the end of our concession agreement. So our agreement provides an option in 2036 to extend the agreement for another 35 years. And we have already initiated discussions with the government of Jamaica regarding the possibility of an earlier renewal. Rather than waiting until 2036, is there a possibility that we can renew the highway concession earlier? This would provide obviously greater certainty for long-term investment and continued innovation and sustained value creation for all the shareholders. Finally, technology never replaces people, obviously. It empowers people. Behind every innovation, every patrol, every customer service interaction, every financial result is a dedicated team member committed to excellence. And I want to thank everyone, every employee, for another remarkable year. Thank you very much. Before asking for the adoption of the audited financial statements, I want to invite shareholders to comment or to ask questions on the audited financials or the director's report. As we said earlier, questions may be asked in relation to the conduct of the audit, the content of the audit report, and accounting policy adopted by the company. Please address all your questions to me, and I ask you to state your name for the record prior to raising your questions or comments. Are there any questions? Thank you.
Hello. Good morning, everyone. Good morning, board. I'm Kerry Tape. I'm a shareholder. I would like to ask a question about solar and the use of solar within the company and how efficiently has it been reducing costs or contributed to cost reduction and operational costs, and how have you put measures in place to alleviate theft or destruction of this kind of infrastructure that you put in? Thank you.
Thank you. You said Ms. Teep?
It's tape, but
tape.
It's pronounced, it's Teep, T-E-A. Huh?
Tape,
it's
all right.
tape. It's tiepe. It's Colombian, but it's pronounced tape in English.
Thank you, Ms.
That's
Tape.
too much explanation. Anyway.
Thank you, Ms. Tape. Yes, so Ms. Tape talked about solar. So with the exception of Phase 1C, which we just took over, all our existing toll plazas have solar panels. So since 2018, since about 2018, we've had panels and what JPS calls a grid-tied system. So when we generate excess power, it goes back to the JPS, and they pay little or nothing. And when we buy power from them, as we have to do at night, it costs a fortune. Thank you. So we need to get batteries. So last year, we implemented one of the largest battery banks in Jamaica. So at Portmore, we have a 500 kilowatt hour battery bank, which now takes us through the night. At phase 1C, we're implementing a solar system with a 900 kilowatt hour battery bank. And that should take us through 2 nights. So even if we have overcast conditions, for example, the next day, we should still have power. We're also converting our fleet as well. So we now have Candle not here. We have about 4 electric vehicles now, which are all charged from the solar system as well. So we're doing a lot to reduce energy costs throughout the organization.
Morning. Morning, Shareholder David Rose. So first query, Ivan. So based on your current amortization schedule for the $225 million US bond, you're going to basically pay $10.85 million this year in principal repayments. 2030 is 15.82, 2036 $25 million US. And the company redeemed between last year July and this January, it was 4.45 million in 4.45 million in redeemable preference shares. So the query is, between the redemption of preference shares and the scaling up of the bond amortization schedule, do you expect to maintain a relative lockstep increase in dividend payments? And 2, the second part of that is, part of one of these AGM agenda items is to amend terms related to the 10th anniversary. I believe that's for the preference shares. Is that the company intends to do 20% redemption every year based on the current redemption schedule you have?
Thanks, David. Well, so there are 2 parts to the question. The first is obviously about dividends, about increasing profitability as we pay down our debt. So David spoke about 2 of our debt instruments, the bonds that we have and the preference shares that we have. And both of them are obviously going down. And what we've been doing, as you have seen over the past few years, David, so as our profitability increases because we're paying down debt, the dividends have also been increased. So we have given a commitment in our IPO to pay out all revenues, pay out all profits that we have, which are not required for the operation of the highway. And we will obviously continue to do that. So as we have more profits, as our debts get paid down, we expect that the dividends will increase. So if you look in our IPO, I think we have an average of 24.5%, I think is for the first 5 years. Dividend yield based on the original IPO price. And we're right in line, I think we're right in line with that. And so we expect to continue to increase that. I'll let Susan talk to you about the correction in the preference shares.
So he was really asking if we are intending to continue the 20% redemption.
That's part of it, and also the adjustment based on the resolution put forward.
Right, so that the resolution will be handled in this meeting, and then the correction will be made in the articles subsequent after the meeting. But regarding the voluntary redemption, so in the same way we allow the board of directors to meet and deliberate on the dividends, it's the same way that we will deliberate on the ability to redeem another 20% come January 2027.
Understood. I just have another 2 queries, one more related to the audited financials, because these are related financial questions. So my second query is related to the restricted cash. I don't tend to get much, well, I don't, but I better want of seeing a significant quantity of TGT's cash is moved to restricted cash as the time goes on, and I read it disconnected towards the bond instrument. So can I some clarity be given as to the increased restricted cash provisions vis-a-vis the bond that we're seeing?
Sorry, say that again, David.
So can you give some clarity in terms of what we're seeing with the increased restricted cash on
Right.
one hand vis-a-vis
Right.
the bond instrument, because that's what the note relates to when you look at the audited financials.
Okay.
I can tell you. So the restricted cash is maintained based on the requirement in the indenture. For example, we have an operations and maintenance reserve account, and that is funded based on the budget for each year. And we maintain 6 months looking forward. So that will be driven by whatever the budget for the upcoming year is. We will retain 6 months of that budget at any one time. In terms of major maintenance, there's a specific formula for that, and that will be dependent on the budget for the next 3 years, I believe, and that is how it continues to be funded. So, and of course, the debt service is funded based on the next, I think we've extended it to a year. It was for 6 months, and we extended it to a year when we were looking to purchase the operator. So we reserve a year's debt service. So it's really dependent on the reserve account is dependent on the budget, the maintenance need, and what the debt service for the next year will be.
Understood. So for the simplest, so the $30 million increase I would have seen in the first quarter in reserve restricted cash, that's based on the formula you would have put forward alongside the budget you have for the forward-looking period then.
Right.
Appreciated, Susan.
You're welcome.
And just my final query, Sir Ivan. So I recall that it was a 2022-2023 AGM where you said that the company's target was really to get to probably, I think it was 60 or 80% TTAG usage over 5 years. It's not directly related to the outage immediately, but I'm getting to it. So I read that you're in the most recent publication for the toll adjustment coming this Saturday into October, that there is a current $10 discount applicable to TTAG users, a way to incentivize them to continue tapping up and using that route. So the first part of the question is, have you looked at other means in terms of applicable discounts to create better incentivization to use the TTAG? And the second part of that question is, based on the change you were spoken about relative to IPO or even to recent probably 2023 versus last year, like what's the reduction in cash handling costs you're observing through this switch to the TTAG method?
Sorry, what was the last question?
So it's just saying, argument's sake, your cash handling cost was $1 million in 2023, and let's just say last year it was $900,000. I'm just saying, do you have an estimate as to the cost savings that you're deriving in a material way to reduce cash handling costs through the TTAG incentivization approach?
All right, so let me talk about the targets that we have. So David mentioned our objective to get to 80% by, I think, 2028, 2029.
Yeah, that's what you said.
So right now, as at the end of June, we're actually at 56%. So we were at about 49%. You signed that slide at the end of December. At the end of June, we're at about 56%. And the plan is to get to 60% by the end of the year. You'd have also seen the notices for the toll increases. And you'd also see the incentive which we have proposed. So if you get a TTAG now, you'll pay no toll increases on the East-West Highway for the next 90 days. In addition to the difference between the price you pay using cash and the price you pay using TTAG, if you use a TTAG, you'll pay no toll increase for the next 90 days. In terms of cash handling, I don't think we have a number that we could share, but earlier in the presentation we talked about the deployment of people. You'd have seen that we were able to reduce the deployment of people by about 10% over the past year. And that will obviously begin to have an impact on the operation as well.
Understood, and you can appreciate the context of my query because you're pointing out to tollless non-operated booth, toll booth. I remember a couple, I think it was the last 2 AGMs, you mentioned ability to have those tollless booths where you can just tap your card and go forward. You mentioned in the alternative lanes. So it's understanding the benefit of that switching costs from the cash to the digital means, because you've also highlighted the reduction in debt carrying costs to returning your cash to shareholders, so you can understand the context.
Right.
And just to follow up on that incentivization approach, another shareholder asked, if there are other alternatives that can be made for persons in St. Catherine, especially what's going on with the recent toll increase.
All right, we hear you. Thanks, David.
David, there's one other thing with the Right, remember there is a discount for passages, frequent usage. So for example, persons going to work and back home, that they in fact also benefit from having a tax subscription. So it's not, right, after the 10th passage, every passage after that, you have a 10% discount. The 10th, it's free, and then everything after that within that defined week, it's a further 10% discount. So it's the lower tariff for the target passage plus the options for these additional discounts from frequent passages.
Good morning, everyone. I
Morning.
am Beverly Gustav, a shareholder. I have maybe about 3 questions, but let me start here. Last week, Saturday, I was on my way to my aunt's funeral, so my son used his tag. When we went to the first station, from a $3,000 tag, it says the balance was $1,320. When we went to the second tag, it says minus $430. That's the balance. When we went to the third toll station, it says minus $90 from a $3,000 tag that was put on. How can I say that this machine is trustworthy?
All right, thanks, Ms. Woodstock. I would be pleased to sit down and discuss it with you at the end to look at this particular circumstance. But I would also suggest that you have a T-Tag app. You have the app?
I don't have the app. My son was using his tag. I'm going to my next.
Right, so if you have the app will show you what the balance is. The app will show you the transactions which have been made. Every time the vehicle goes through the plaza, it will show what the amount is that was deducted and what the balance is on the T-Tag.
Yes, it did show the amount.
So
what I'm concerned about is the balance.
Right. So the app will show what the deductions are, and if there's a discrepancy, we'll be happy to talk to you about it.
Okay, my next thing is, I have my receipt here that I paid for my tag, but I don't have a card. Can I get a card today?
You don't have a what?
I don't have the tag card, I have just the receipt. So can I get a
Sorry, I'm
tag
not sure I'm
card
following.
today? I didn't get the card. The tag, yes. But I have my receipt here.
You just
From
paid
the
for
last
it?
AGM? No. I paid for it at the last AGM. Last year, yes.
Oh, yeah. So we can give you that tag. We have tags now. So you paid for it at the last AGM?
Yes, I did.
So how were you supposed to get it?
Well, they said I should go to the station, but when I went there, I didn't get one either. So I just waited until this meeting to come and talk about it.
All right, no problem, Ms. Woodstock. We have tags. TNL is somewhere around. TNL can get your tag. Can get your tag.
My next thing is this, and I'm sure it concerns everyone. Recently, I heard of an increase in the toll fees, but I haven't heard you saying anything about it. Can you expand on it? And is that increase really necessary at this time, given the amount that you're saying that you're making and all of that? Is that increase really necessary at this time? Thank you very much.
You're a shareholder, right, Ms.?
Yes, I'm a shareholder.
Just making sure.
I'm sure it won't go on my dividend.
Thank you, Ms. Woodstock.
But I use the toll regularly, so I still have to pay.
Right, thank you, Ms. Woodstock. And it's an important question.
Thank you very much.
When David was talking earlier, sometimes people don't remember. When David was talking about bonds and preference shares, you know what those are? It's debt. So although we don't, you see it in the annual report, but we don't tend to talk about it. TGH has more than $30 billion of debt. So when we make profits, it's not money that we throw away. It's earnings that we use first, David talked about it, to pay down our debt. And after we pay down our debt, we give back the shareholders what they invested for. So when our shareholders invested in 2020, when we did the IPO in 2020, our shareholders expected to get about a 14% return on their investment. And so we're paying down the debt and we're paying our shareholders. Gone are the days when the money went anywhere else. It's coming to all our Jamaican 40,000 shareholders. And I think we're doing a good job at that.
Good morning, my name is Javon Denal, shareholder.
Sorry, what's the last name?
Denal.
Denal.
Denal. D-I-N-N-A-L-L.
Denal, thanks
Yeah.
Denal.
All right, so I have a three-part question, and it's all in regards to phasing out the people at the toll booths. So I would like to, and the fact that you guys said that you can accept card at the toll booths as well. Are you able to pay with Apple Pay?
So our payments are now made through the NCB portal, the NCB point of sale machines. So all payment transactions which the NCB portal accepts, we accept.
Okay. All right. And Jamaica is a cash-heavy society, so
Right.
you're saying that you're going to phase out the human being at the toll booth. So what if the individual has to pay with cash?
Right, so we talked about the transition. Obviously, if you go to anywhere else throughout the world, a lot of countries throughout the world, there's no cash provision. But we're not there yet. So we have to gradually, as Dave talked about, increase the number of tag users until we can get to the stage where very few people need to use cash. At that point, we will do as they've done in all the other countries. You can drive through, but if you don't have a tag, there has to be a way to send you an invoice, and there has to be a way for us to collect from that invoice. We know how hard it is to find people in Jamaica, especially when they owe you money. So it's a transition. The laws has to be adjusted to take account of that. So at that point when we're no longer accepting cash, and if the customer doesn't have a tag, then we'll take a picture of the license and send a bill to the customer.
Yeah, like they do in America. In addition to that, so, all right, yeah, do you guys have any data that reflects how many people use cash as opposed to using a card at the toll booths?
Yeah, we spent a long time talking about it earlier. So as at December,
Not the toll tag, like physically tapping their card as opposed to using cash at the toll booths. Do you have any data that reflects that information?
sorry, when you say physical, so at the toll booth, at the toll plaza, there are two options. You either use a tag or you pay with cash. Right?
You also mentioned earlier that you also have the card machine that you can pay with at the toll booth.
Right,
so now I'm asking you if you have any
I
data.
consider that to be cash.
Oh, you consider the
Right,
card payment as cash?
Right.
Oh, but you don't have any data like physical cash compared to the card, because that would help with the information, the data. That data point would help you with the transition from removing the individual from the toll booth. You understand?
Right. So globally, let's talk globally again. So people going through the toll plaza, you have two options when you're going to the toll plaza. You either pay with cash, which will include credit cards in that, meaning that you go to a manual lane. You either go to a manual lane or you go to a tag lane. If you go to a manual lane, you pay either with your credit card or with cash. If you go to a tag lane, obviously you go straight through. So for the people using the manual lanes versus the tag lanes, which we talked about earlier, that's about 49% of the users in December. At the end of June, that's about 56% of the users. So 56% of the users are using your tag, and 44% of the users are now in the manual lanes, using either cash or credit cards. You'd have seen our ads recently trying to encourage people. So one of the other issues that you have is when you're topping up your tag. So how do you get money on your tag? You get money on your tag through a number of different ways. We talked about them earlier. Through WhatsApp, through Bill Express, through Interlink, through the web app, or you can also put money on your tag by driving through the manual lane and using cash to top up your tag. So we're trying to encourage people now to move away from topping up your tag in the lane to topping it up online.
Good morning. I'm not sure if it's afternoon. Again, Carrie Tape, T-E-A-P-E for, okay. Can you turn with me to page 147? There is a question that I would like to ask about this loan facility. On November the 6th, 2025, the company entered into a loan facility agreement with the related entity, TransJamaican Highway Operations, until December the 1st, 36, in the principal amount of $20 million. The loan bears interest at the greater of 12.3% per annum, or the GOJ 10-year Treasury yield plus 560 basis points as determined on June 30 and 31 December annually. So the question that I want to ask is this loan a fixed or variable rate with TransJam Highway Operations? And how are you related to TransJam? It's a whole heap of questions. I mean, forgive me. How are you related to TransJam? So the first question, is it fixed or variable rate?
Well, let me explain what it is.
If the interest rates come down.
Let me explain what it is in the first place.
Okay.
So you know who TransJam Highway Operators are?
No, that's what I'm asking you. So
all right. So that's a company that has the concession for Phase 1C.
Okay.
So it's a subsidiary company of TJH. So we created that company in order to implement Phase 1C.
Okay.
So the $20.3 million is the money which we have provided to THO, which they then use to pay for the right to operate Phase 1C. Remember that we had to pay for the right to operate Phase 1C. Yes. So the $20.3 million is the money that we provided them for them to pay to NROC in order to get the concession for Phase 1C. Now that money was provided by us to TJH based on that loan which you just read out.
Yes.
And it's a variable rate interest rate. It's variable interest rate.
Okay, great. Okay, so that's the first. So the next page, 148, this is short. Other receivables. I noticed that your receivable gone from 1.9 million in 2025 for the group part to one. Am I reading this correctly? 1.969 to 2.2579. Can you just give a brief account of why that has gone up? It's on page 148. Note 9, other receivables. And I mean, it's not that significant of a jump, but I wouldn't like that to happen again next year with that. I mean, so what I'm saying, Stephen? I mean, it's 148, it's note 9, other receivables. It's bumped up a bit. Could you just explain for me?
Sure. So other receivables includes the related. So we have more or less consolidated most of the related party transactions. So our other receivables are, we don't have a large receivable group, as you know, because we have very few clients, but included in that other receivables is funding that we should get from, for example, monies collected for the toll based on the arrangement that we have with the operator. The operator collects on our behalf, and then they will transfer the funds over to TGH. So for example, the credit card and debit card funds, those are collected by the operator and transferred on a periodic basis to TGH. There were some delays at the year end in transferring over that money, so it wouldn't be consolidated because it really is TGH's money and should be payable to TGH. And so it's really items like that that are in other receivables. We don't have a large receivable. So it's harder to say that it's something that you would see continuing.
That's what I wanted to find out. Okay, great. Okay, the next thing that I wanted to ask is, Mr. Anderson noted that you were highly the capital infrastructural development across the island, of course, is massive. And the company is highly leveraged, meaning that you have borrowed a lot of money, right? And or let me not say it that way, that you are financing it from different options, from preference shares and loans and that kind of thing. Could you just give us an idea of, because I noticed on page 78, when you see finance costs, that it's coming down slightly, and I wanted to know if there was there obviously must be a concerted effort to reduce this finance cost, because reduced finance costs hit the bottom line, and therefore the profit line will go up. So could you just, I mean, I know it's a complicated thing that I've asked, even though it seems so simple, but could you just speak about how highly leveraged you are, one, and two, the measures that you have put in place to reduce this finance cost that I'm seeing here on page 78?
So in terms of at the end of year end, so we have secured notes, as David spoke about, that bond. In 2020, we had borrowed US $225 million. At year end December, it's done 184. Let's round it off to 185 million. And that is because each quarter, principal repayments are made. So we repay some of that money back each quarter when we pay the interest.
Okay, I see.
Right.
Okay, makes sense. Okay, great. So I just want to commend the company, the board, all the management and staff. And listen, it's when you do something, I've been in the stock market game for a long time. I've been investing for 40 years. And to see the company that is 40,000 investors strong, that is quite a significant accomplishment. Back when I started, when there was an IPO, there were like 200 or 300 people. So I'd just like to commend the board and the senior staff and all the staff on your accomplishment.
Thank you, Ms. Tape. I appreciate it.
June James, shareholder, and I endorse what my
Ms. Tape.
Ms. Tape.
Yes, my colleague has just said about congratulating you on a job well done. I am interested in the expansion of the North-South Highway. I travel that fairly regularly, and I really would like to know how soon that extension between, to bypass that Runaway Bay Salem to Ocherius traffic jam is going to start. I really don't know how soon that will be. That's the first part. And then between Ocherius and Port Antonio, and especially when you go to places like Anoka Bay, that sometimes there can be a real traffic jam in that area sometimes. Is there going to be a plan to do something about that side? So 2 highways, the expansion on the north-south, and the other part over to Port Antonio.
Thank you, Ms. James. So we talked earlier about the government of Jamaica potential projects. Remember that these are not all projects. These are projects that the government of Jamaica has indicated that they want to implement. So our role is to see how we can assist in the implementation of these projects. Are there sections of these projects that could be feasible for us to finance and implement? But the the responsibility for planning of these projects is really with the government of Jamaica. They have put on the table, as we talked about, 2 sections, the section to Discovery Bay and the section to Prospect. And those are the sections that I'm aware that they're now focusing on. So we are in discussions with them about those sections and how we could possibly participate in the implementation of those projects. So hopefully by the next AGM, we'll have a lot more to say on those.
I have a long wait then.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Debbie Salmon, shareholder. I am a happy camper. I'm a happy shareholder, and I'm a happy user. I live in St. Elizabeth, and without a doubt, there's no other way to get to Kingston except I'm on the highway. My question has to do probably with aesthetics and to some extent safety, particularly on the Williams Field. That's what you're referring to as 1C?
Right.
Right. My question is, how often is maintenance supposed to be done in terms of bushing? The overgrowth covers the railings on the hard shoulder, and as I said, it doesn't make for pleasant driving, and I enjoy the route, but it also can be dangerous. Just want to say also, well, let me let you answer that part. Is it? I know bushing can be difficult because a lot of it has to do with rainfall and all of that, but I think it is important, and I believe it appears to have been abandoned.
Thank you, Ms. Salmon, and thank you for the question. It's important that we can explain what has happened with Phase 1C in particular. So Phase 1C, as you know, we took over from the government of Jamaica in December of last year. When we take over a project like that, there are certain obligations that NROC has to be able to fulfill before everything is completed. So things like bushing should have been completed. There are the street lights, some street lights that are not working.
Yes.
There are some missing raised pavement markers, we call them cat's eyes.
Yes.
All of those things are part of what we call a defects list that NROC is now rectifying. And unfortunately, bushing is one of those. So a lot of it has been done, and we have taken over those sections where it has been done, and we are continuing to take over the additional pieces. So by the end of the year, it will be totally transformed.
Wonderful. I just want to add that the animal hazard has reduced.
Right.
I note that. And I also want to, I don't know if this is a place, but one of the inner lane barrier or the T-tag on at the booth often is problematic. I've had to reverse on a number of occasions and can't go through despite the fact that I have money on my tab. And that's not a pleasant, particularly when you're tired and want to get home. You don't want to have to be reversing and going and reversing and going. So we could check up on the barriers.
Right. So
thank you.
For those people who have used that toll plaza, it's a little different from our existing toll plazas. That left lane that Mr. Salmon was talking about is a little narrower than our normal lanes. And so it's difficult for the tag traffic to use it. So I don't know if you noticed, Mr. Salmon, what we have done is we've moved the tag lane over one. So we have moved it, right, so we have moved it from the far left to the next one over. And that allows the tag customers to move a little more freely. But there is an issue with the narrowness of that left lane. We recognize that. And thanks for highlighting it again.
Hello, everyone. Nicola Borrelli, shareholder. I just need some clarification and a couple of observations, quick ones. When you say you can tap at the toll plaza, whether you use your credit card or debit card, is that if you have insufficient funds or just to pay the full fare to go through?
Sorry, say that again?
You mentioned that you can now tap debit or credit card.
Right.
I'm wondering, is that to pay the full fare, or suppose you have your tag, but for some reason you have insufficient funds, get to the plaza, find out it's insufficient. Is it the difference, or it will take the full fare going through?
Right. So currently, where we have tap and go, it's what we call attended. So there's actually an attendant there. So you have two options. If you go and there's not sufficient funds, you can actually top up.
Oh, okay.
You can top up at the same time, or you can pay for the trip with the card.
Okay, all right. Because that...
I remember this is all in the manual lane for now, because there's an attendant there now. When
Thank
we
you
go
for
to
that.
unattended, then you won't have an attendant there.
I hope that you have taken into account when you get to unattended that we have a high level of very innovative thieves, and they may wish to walk away, drive away, ride away with the devices.
Yes, those are challenges that Colin is working through.
Okay, thanks. I really liked your new, I'm calling it new, ad campaign, given that fares are increasing. You have an increase, yes, but you have extended it for 90 days for tag users. I'd like to congratulate you on that, because I thought, here is an innovative idea in action. It's coming right after the north-south, and that one tends to be a little pricey. plus, but we will get into that. So I thought that was really innovative, and I hope that it will drive the customers for tag use. So that's really pretty good. Just one question on that. You have a toll gate mentioned, but nothing about Williamsfield in the different options going across, the different toll plazas. Can you clarify? Right.
So Williamsfield is actually the end of the highway. Toll gate is what we call the toll plaza. So we have toll gate.
Toll gate for Williamsfield.
Right. So you go through the toll gate, toll plaza when you're going to Williamsfield.
Right. Got you.
So Williamsfield is where the roundabout is at the end of the highway.
Okay, got you. We always call it Williamsfield and once here.
Right.
Okay. My question to you, besides all the accolades that you have been feeling all year and you've shared with us, congrats. Are you sure you're not a technological company as well as a highway driven company, so to speak? Because with all the innovations that you have done, which you said you were going to do and more, I must congratulate you. So I think you're also a technological company, and you need to market yourself that way.
Thanks, Ms. Burrow. And knock wood, we've been able to do it without driving up to the toll plaza and it doesn't work. That has never happened, knock wood. So despite all of the changes that we've been making in the software, in the hardware, we are still 24 hours a day. We don't have the luxury of saying, between 1 o'clock and 6 o'clock you can't travel on the highway. Our highway is always open, regardless. Except when the government shuts us down, that is.
I just want to add one thing. It really makes us feel like we are first world, operating in a real first world environment. That does not break down.
Thanks, Ms. Burrows.
Greetings, everyone. Delighted to be Joel Leng. My question has to do with the issue of toll avoidance, usually via tailgating, right? I wanted to know, do we know what type of vehicle, you'd say occupies a lion's share of this activity? And what are we doing about that? If I had to guess, I would say it's public enemy number 1, red plate, followed by public enemy number 2, motorcycles, and maybe number 3, blue plates. Right.
Sorry, I missed your name at the start.
Joel Leng, L-A-I-N-G.
Mr. Leng.
Right.
Absolutely. This is not something that we've talked about a lot, but it's a growing problem. Mr. Leng talked about what's called tailgating. So a legitimate customer going through the tag lane, and one of these red plates or bikes, they come up right behind them, and then they try and go through together before the barrier comes down. And it is becoming worse and worse. We're doing a number of things. We've now upgraded all our cameras in the lane so that we get better information on the violators. We're also working with the police to establish a unit that will work with us, a dedicated unit to work with us. And we're developing with the police a way where we can catch people. And not necessarily catch people in the act of tailgating. But once you have tailgated once, then we save the information. We upload the tailgater information to our cameras. And so the cameras know when this vehicle is coming through. And then what we're working with the police to do. So once you come through the toll plaza, it sends an alert to a policeman's phone that the vehicle is on its way down, and we can then pull it off. So that's the idea that we're working through. We have cameras now set up at Dyke Road, Dawkins Drive, Port Henderson, which detects when these tailgaters come up onto the highway, and the next phase is to then begin to pull them off at the other end.
Would it be worth considering maybe faster closing gates, or no? Maybe you don't want to do that. No, the damage is probably, I don't know. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, the issue is obviously it's going to hit the vehicle. It's likely to hit the vehicle, and likely to create more damage than it solves. But it's a problem that we're working on.
All right. Does
Diligently.
it usually happen more in the tag lane, or is it more the manual lanes?
No, it's all
lanes.
always in the tag lane. Sorry.
Okay.
Occasionally, you have the bike
Yeah.
in the manual lane because they drive around the barrier.
Yeah.
They try to ride around the barrier.
Yeah.
But typically, it's in the tag lanes.
Yeah. All right. Thank you. Yeah.
Thank you, Mr. Lynn.
Good afternoon again, everyone. Renee McDonald, shareholder. Just one question. There are changes coming to IFRS 18 starting January 2027. So I just wanted to know if you are able to share now what impact we can expect that to have on particularly the income statement for TJH moving forward.
Let me ask Roger. Roger, you're going to give us some questions from online?
Yes. So, Colette
Hold
Brown.
on. Sorry, Roger. Okay.
Colette Brown is asking.
Hold on a minute, Roger. Hold on a minute.
Suzanne.
We're still examining. Better?
Yeah.
All right. So we're still examining the full disclosure requirements. So that our first is regarding disclosures. And so we're still examining what, if any, impact it has. And so by third quarter or so, we will start, making adjustments where necessary.
All right, thank you.
You're welcome.
So some questions from online.
Good morning, good afternoon.
Okay.
Go ahead with that line.
All right. Colette Brown is asking about additional plans for additional revenue sources.
Right. So the primary areas that we've talked about are the expansion of the highway. We've talked about the north-south extension. We've talked about the Montego Bay bypass. So those are the primary areas that we're currently looking at.
Okay. Skylin Bilcom is saying that mention was made of the closure of highway after Hurricane Melissa, which resulted in loss of revenue. Has it officially been written off, or are there still negotiations being held with the GOJ?
We had a meeting about 2 weeks ago, Susan? Right. About 2 weeks ago with the ministry. They are to write us formally with their position, and so we continue to follow that up.
Denisha Orr, in the report, it was mentioned that there is a decrease in the demand for manual lanes. However, employment number remains the same. What is the explanation behind this employment rate being the same?
Right, we talked through that. So we have been redeploying people as we've become more efficient, redeploying people from the existing operations into the Phase 1C operation.
And finally, Lorraine Christie Campbell is asking, is it possible to implement a temporary tag for persons who may not be driving their own vehicles and want to utilize the tag lane?
A temporary tag. So we have what we call a hanging tag, and that will be available online as well. So a hanging tag is something you just slip over your rearview mirror. If you have a number of vehicles and you want to use the same tag in these vehicles, or if you want to give your son a tag for him to use, or not. The hanging tag allows the tag to be moved between various vehicles. So that's also available in the e-store. Thanks, Roger. Final question?
Back to me?
Yes.
I am Natasha Egan.
Sorry, I didn't hear your name.
Natasha.
Tasha.
Natasha.
Natasha.
Right. My question is pertaining to AI, right? So I'd like to know, how long now have you implemented AI into TransJam business? How long have you been using AI?
All right, so we use it in different areas. So I talked about identifying queues.
Yeah.
So over the past 6 months, Colin, we've been using it to look at the queues that we have. The TJ has only recently been brought on staff, and she's only on staff since this week.
Okay. So the timeline, how long have you been using it?
So TJ, the AI that you heard, the voice assistant.
You say 1 week?
Yes.
Okay, TJ.
Yeah,
okay.
TJ.
She has a name.
Yeah, man,
He
she
has
does.
a name. Do you trust TJ?
Yes, we do.
Yeah?
TJ is trained by us. So how does TJ answer questions? So we provide TJ with all the information that she needs to have. And we actually connect TJ to our live toll system. So when somebody asks a question, for example, about their tag balance, that's why TJ asks, what is your swipe card number and what is your name? We then use those pieces of information to get the live information from our database.
TJ, 1 week is that's a short time to evaluate the work that he or she has done.
Right, she's just been brought on.
So, does it make
She was
save you any money so far? 1 week. How much money TJ save you in a week?
You have any? Tell me all the questions and we can just answer all of them at once.
No, I'm ask you how much money
So,
has TJ saved the company so far?
so we don't have a figure yet.
Okay,
but
maybe next year I'll come back to you, all right?
All right.
Have a good day.
Thank you, Natasha.
Afternoon.
Afternoon.
I'm Douglas Wilson, shareholder. All right, just I have a very small question, but before that I have a commendation to make. And I'm sorry I didn't know about the hanging tag you mentioned a few minutes ago. All right, I think it's late last year or early this year, I purchased a number of tags. I think it's around the same time you had the fire.
Right.
It was late last year, right? Or early this year, I can't remember. But anyway, to cut a long story short, the balances were not being reflected when we were driving. So call the office where I purchased it. Took a little while to get through. I guess that's before TJ, right?
Right.
So, and I must say that I was very, very impressed by the customer service. The gentleman I got through to went out of his way, went through the records, everything. He couldn't find anything. Took my number, called me back, and said, boy, I'm not finding nothing, but he would put in the money himself till it sort out so I can enjoy my experience. I just wanted to commend the company. And Mrs. Brown had mentioned the employees, and I guess this is what she had in mind. But the question is, it's a very easy question. The Ministry of Health is expressing concerns about population growth, and we're thinking about 2036 and beyond that. Do you have any concerns about that in terms of growth of passengers and so on, in terms of the slow growth of the population?
Douglas, that's a very interesting question. Very interesting question. In fact, we had a meeting just this week. Yeah, just this week with our traffic advisors, where we asked them to look at this issue. Over the past few years, when we look at the relationship between population growth and traffic growth, we've not seen a strong correlation. There are other things that it is more correlated with. We've not seen a very strong correlation with population growth. Because as you'd appreciate, over the past few years, population growth has almost been flat. So despite population growth being almost flat, the traffic has notwithstanding been growing. But notwithstanding, we want to look at it a little more deeply. So we've asked our advisor to take a look at this in a more deeply and to give us some information. But it's an interesting question, Douglas.
Thanks. By the way, I just noticed that the share price is $10 this morning, just incidentally.
All right, if there are no more questions. We can get them online next week, so the East Door should be open next week. But now you can get them at the Toll Plaza, at the sales office. So since there are no more questions, I'm going to ask that the audited financial statements for the year ended December 31, 2025, and the reports of the directors and auditors be and are hereby adopted. May I ask for a move of this resolution? My name? Mark Anthony Barton. May I have a seconder? Seconded? David. All in favor in the room, please indicate by a show of hands. For those on Zoom, select the appropriate option on the resolution on screen. You now have 45 seconds to vote. Okay, the motion is carried. The registrar has advised that we are in receipt of 11.109% of shareholders who have voted by proxy in favor of all resolutions. We'll now move to the second item of business, that the interim dividends of US $10 million, 0.1258 Jamaican dollars per share, paid on April the 24th, and also US $10 million, 0.1292 Jamaican dollars per share, paid on October the 24th for the year 2025, be and are hereby ratified and declared as final, and that no further dividend be paid in respect of the year under review. May I have a mover for this resolution? David. May I have a seconder? All in favor in the room, please indicate by a show of hands. For those on Zoom, please select the appropriate option on the resolution on screen. The resolution is carried. The election of directors. I will take these resolutions separately. That the retiring director, Stephen Gooden, be and is hereby re-elected as a director of the company. May I have a mover? David. May I have a seconder? Name? Howard Wolf. All those in favor in the room, please indicate by a show of hands. And for those on Zoom, select the appropriate option on the resolution on screen. And the resolution is carried. That the retiring director, Stephen Edwards, be and is hereby re-elected as a director of the company. May I have a mover for this resolution? Mark Anthony Barker. Seconded, David. All in favor in the room, please indicate by a show of hands. For those on Zoom, please select the appropriate option on the resolution on screen. He's joining online. My apologies. And the motion is carried. That the retiring director, John Bell, be and is hereby re-elected a director of the company. May I have a mover for this resolution? Nicola Burrows. Seconded, David.
Individually rather than en bloc.
Right.
And I like the idea of that. I just think that your shareholders like a little bit of interaction with you rather than a single resolution taking everybody. And I like the idea that you let them all have the opportunity, and I'm happy to see that so many people are eager to support your resolutions.
Thank you, sir. So, all in favor of the resolution for John Bell, please indicate by a show of hands. All those on Zoom, select the appropriate option on the resolution on screen. You have 45 seconds to vote. And the resolution is carried. Remuneration of directors. That the amount included in the audited accounts of the company for the year ended December 31st, 2025, as remuneration for their services as directors be and is hereby approved. May I have a mover? David. May I have a seconder? Andrew Pearman. All in favor in the room, please indicate by a show of hands. Those on Zoom, please select the appropriate option on the resolution on screen. You have 45 seconds to vote. And the resolution is carried. Appointment of auditors and their remuneration. That Ernst & Young Chartered Accountants, having agreed to continue in office as auditors, be and are hereby appointed auditors of the company to hold office until the next annual general meeting at a remuneration to be agreed by the directors of the company. May I have a mover for this resolution? Mr. Austin. May I have a seconder? Ms. Salmon. All in favor in the room, please indicate by a show of hands. Those on Zoom, please indicate by selecting the appropriate option. You'll have 45 seconds. And the resolution is carried. And the final resolution, that Article 23.3 of the Articles of Incorporation of the company be amended by deleting therefrom the words 8th anniversary, wherever it appears, and substituting therefore the words 10th anniversary. May I have a mover for this resolution? May I have a seconder? All in favor in the room, please indicate by a show of hands. For those on Zoom, please select the appropriate option. You'll have 45 seconds. And the resolution is carried. Are there any other burning questions that anyone wants to ask before we wrap up?
Many of us are satisfied, but in terms of expanding our revenue base,
right,
as it is now, there's quite a bit of unutilized real estate from Ferry to Williams Field along this side. And many of us are very high on East City. But I want to throw out a challenge to our shareholders. What if we look at these areas to put up solar panel? Solar panel. We're going to look at the Montego Bay bypass, North Coast bypass, maybe Miss Salmon's Spur Tree bypass. These are increasing real estate. I know we don't own the land, it's a lease arrangement, but with the NROC and the government of Jamaica, in terms of renewable energy, which is what we all should be concerned about today and tomorrow. Look at utilizing these unutilized lands along the highway to put up solar panel. I know JPS don't pay anything for it, no. But hopefully, when the next license comes up next year for renewal, the input of renewable energy to the grid will become a, sizable matter. That as a company, we approach the government early now in the days to utilize these lands for solar panel going forward. Thank you, sir.
Thank you for that suggestion.
Horace from Meepen.
Thank you for that suggestion. Any other questions? All right, if there are no further questions, this ends the formal part of our meeting, which we now declare closed. Ladies and gentlemen, as we formally close this section, thank you all for your attendance and interest, and we look forward to your continued support in the coming year. Please continue to keep safe, and we look forward to welcome you to our AGM next year. We have light refreshments at the back, and feel free to talk to any of the directors and senior management who are here with us. Thank you very much.
I used to be a resident in Portmore, and I remember the long lines trying to get into Kingston before the highway. I am now thankful for the easier commute to get into Kingston.
We started in 2003 with a vision for making Jamaicans' lives easier, and we'll never stop working for you. Our new vision involves building a legacy of excellence that inspires and empowers our customers and stakeholders. Highway 2000 East-West is now TransJam Highways for your best journey.
The highway allowed me to finally own a home. Hallelujah. Kingston was so congested and houses were so expensive. The highway made it possible for me to buy something in a peaceful area out of town and was still able to commute quickly to Kingston for work.
We started in 2003 with a vision for making Jamaicans' lives easier, and we'll never stop working for you. Our new vision involves building a legacy of excellence that inspires and empowers our customers and stakeholders. Highway 2000 East-West is now TransJam Highways for your best journey.
Back in the days, it used to take us 4.5 hours, maximum 5 to get to Negrin. Nowadays, using the highway, 3.5 hours, boom, bam, and you reach.
We started in 2003 with a vision for making Jamaicans' lives easier, and we'll never stop working for you. Our new vision involves building a legacy of excellence that inspires and empowers our customers and stakeholders. Highway 2000 East-West is now TransJam Highways for your best journey.
You know, it's a joke thing every time you don't use a T-tag. I mean, with a T-tag, your 10th trip every week is free. And for every trip after that for the same week, it's 10% off. So you wait for it. Get your T-tag today and drive like the winner you are every time.
Save money and save time. If you don't have a tag, you will waste time. Yeah, your seatbelt buckle and you're driving safe. Use up your T-tag, drive and save.
Drive like the winner you deserve to be with the T-tag every time. You don't have to dig up for cash for pay toll. With a T-tag, your transaction is linked to your T-tag account. So you don't have to worry about cash. Just make sure you download the app and keep your account topped up. You can use WhatsApp or the My T-tag app. Oh, you can use this.
Save money and save time. If you don't have a tag, you will waste time. Yeah, your seatbelt buckle and you're driving safe. Use up your T-tag, drive and save.
Make smart money moves like a winner and use your T-tag every time.